And we are back at Criswalkz Realtalkz. This is episode 6, and I met these guys here to my left, Idrise and Jannet. Hope I said that right.
Yeah.
This place here, I don't know.
I guess we're in Villa Park.
Yeah.
Villa Park, Orange County.
Orange County, there you go.
Yeah.
California.
We met like 6 days ago.
Yeah.
But I've never seen them around because they're always busy, and like we've missed each other so many times. These guys are hustlers.
To say the least.
I appreciate the grind.
Dude.
So let's introduce you guys yourselves. Just talk to that camera. That camera's yours.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay. Like literally talk to the camera. Okay.
For this part.
For this part. Okay. What do you want me to say? Just my name.
My name is Idrise, and I am a singer, songwriter, producer, engineer, you name it. Pretty much everything you can do in entertainment out here. Shooting music videos, working with clients on vocals, working on clients' music, whether it's for films or for artists' album projects. Been out here originally from California, but went to the military for 10 years, got out and came back to California directly from the military in 2016. So I've been back out here ever since. My journey led me to meeting this beautiful lady here, who is my girlfriend Jannet, who I will let introduce herself now.
Hi everyone. My name is Jannet Carrera. I am born and raised here in California, SoCal. I am a dancer, entrepreneur, interior designer. I really do wear a lot of hats, but it's all intertwined with the arts.
Yes.
Yeah, so as Idrise mentioned, we're just out here honestly just living the dream.
Yeah, literally.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for introducing yourselves. Let's welcome them all. Woo! My first impression when I met you guys was you guys are pretty ambitious of what you're doing and what you do. I didn't know exactly what you do. And I just had this feeling that you guys were like that mindset that I had, ambitious, entrepreneurship. That was the main one. I was like, these guys are hustlers. They know what to do.
Yeah.
So how did that even start for you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
You know what's funny is like when you ask that stuff, I want to like talk for her. I want to talk like about her because I'm like, oh, I was like, man, you should meet her family. Her grandma probably inspired the entire, you know.
Yeah.
But
Talk about yourself.
yeah. I'm always like trying to hype her. Yeah, I guess like that ambition. I'd say it kind of came from. I could say I watched my dad, right? Always kicking ass. I looked up to him a lot for most of my life. It wasn't until I got into the military. When I was 19, I joined the Air Force.
Oh.
And when I went in, boot camp was like brutal. And like the first 2 weeks, I was like, I think I just made the worst decision of my life. You know, I went in because I was smart, and everyone told, oh, you're a genius. I was like this. I went to high school. I started at 12 years old, and I was always like young and smart and just like this nerd. And I was always told, you're so smart, and then go to the Air Force. And then I went in, and this is not what I wanted to do with my brains, But then when I got out of boot camp, they were like, your test scores kind of want us to throw you into Arabic school. So then I learned Arabic, learned how to read, write, and speak, went straight into counterterrorism, and did that. And then I also did counterterrorism for Iraq, and then I did it for Nigeria, which then I had to learn another language. A Nigerian language was a 48-week course. Then I had to move to Germany for the Africa Command, and I learned German. And then all of that just kind of like, when I had to keep getting put into new situations, new culture, I had to move cities all the time. I went from Texas to Monterey to Baltimore to DC to Germany and then LA. And I'm not from LA. I grew up in the Bay Area. So even LA was different. But all these different culture shocks, and not just culture shocks, environmental shocks, assimilating into different cultures and societies. It just kind of makes you say like, well, I'm not going to just sit around and hermit. Every single time I got put into a new situation, I need to dominate that situation or I'm going to be miserable. Yeah, and I became a chameleon, and a lot of that happened from, and I looked back and I was like, oh, it happened from like early childhood development. I had, my parents split when I was 3. I moved around a lot with my mom, just from, life in general. And then by the time I graduated high school, I had been to 8 schools, and so I don't have a core friend group. I don't have a core, like, any group. So me being in different places for most people would be like detrimental. But like for me to say like I don't have like a place I call home, and I don't have like a friend since I was this age, and I don't have but I got used to that. It's like, well, I'm in a new environment, assimilate, dominate, assimilate, dominate. Do what you can to not, a lot of it was to not be, even in the military, do the best you can so that you're not noticed for your mistakes. I didn't want to always be making mistakes and always be doing the wrong thing and get noticed for it. So I kept doing the best I could in everything. And, and over time as a singer, that also started shining through on the side of the military. Then I got on finals of The Voice in Germany, and then that contract that they offered me got me out of the military, and I moved to LA, and that's how all of it kind of.
You're on The Voice Germany?
Yeah. The only thing is, I didn't sign the contract because it was horrible. And
I'm turning my chair for you.
Yeah. And then, Well, then the American The Voice hit me up and said, hey, can you come out here? We'll fly you out, put you in a hotel, per diem, all that. And I was like, okay. Then I had an investor out here that was like, we'll do this, this, and this. And I was super excited. Came out here, contract was horrible. I said no to it. Went back to Germany, and then the investor pulled out. And honestly, I almost lost all. At that point, I was like, I'm just gonna stay in the military. I'm good at this. Chasing the dream of music is probably just not gonna be it for me. But that investor actually said one thing to me, and he's like, well, think about this. I'm not pulling out because I don't believe in you or anything. I'm pulling out because the industry I've learned since doing research and me telling him about it and having meetings, that the entertainment business is super volatile. And for any investor that's looking to have a little bit more positive, like for sure return on their money, this ain't it. So he's like, because the market's a little bit shifty right now, I just sold a company, I've got other things that I'm already invested in, I might have to just like press pause on this. And I'm like, all right, but what's that mean for me? Especially since I declined The Voice now, and the label we were gonna start didn't happen. So I had two choices. I had one choice to make. Either I'm going to stay in the military, finish out my last 10 years and retire, or take the leap of faith and actually chase the dream. And that was a couple weeks of, really deciding, like, can you do this? Do you believe in yourself? And he even said, independent of whether or not I'm going to be a part of your career, would you still do it? And that answer is going to tell you a lot about how much you know. And I'm like, ugh. So a couple weeks went by, and I was like, you know what? He's right. Whether he was involved or not, I got this. So I submitted my paperwork, I got out, I moved to LA, and I just slept on the couch for a couple months. Then I had enough money, from some bonus money that had finally come in, and I got a roommate, did the whole roommate situation for years, and just like hit the $100 songs, write songs for free, whatever I could do, just to show people I could do it, spent 10, 20 grand on producers and writers, that I could work with because I wanted to be a big singer. Eventually turned into I need to be a producer and writer, because being of the service, in the service side of it, instead of the person who needs the service, it's kind of the only way I can survive. Then I learned how to shoot video, and I learned how to edit more, and I learned how to do vocal coaching. I learned all these things. So the ambition kind of was born out of necessity. It wasn't like I just always had this like shoot for the stars mentality. It kind of grew over time, where I would my dad said, why don't you shoot for the stars and land on the moon maybe? And I was like, no, I'd rather shoot for the moon because I know I can hit it, and then go for the stars after. Nice. I just had I flipped it, I was like, I don't want to jump and try to get to the highest rung on the ladder, because if I miss, I go and I hurt myself. Right, yeah. I know I can hit that one, and I know I can hit that one, and so I just started kind of climbing up slower, and the ambition grew over time. And then purpose started filling in, because then I started kind of like seeing signs from God, and God would put people in my life, and messages would come from these people, sometimes through prophetic, sometimes speaking in tongues, and then boom, here it comes. And sometimes just straight up signs. Meeting her was another one of those signs. That's a whole other story. I wrote a song about it. When I hear it, here it goes. No. Yeah, a lot. I mean, I could talk forever, but she also needs to tell you her side of it. So yeah, the ambition comes from all over, but she also inspired another. I took another turn into where for a while I was just chasing the paper, chasing the dream, chasing the every opportunity I could, because I had been just kind of like this role, like this, what do you call it, a lone ranger, for the longest time. And then coming across her, I kind of seen a whole other side. I seen a family environment I'd never seen before, I've never experienced before, and then kind of put things in perspective on what what's important and what matters, you know. And that was a whole, that's an even more recent but awesome twist to the journey. But yeah, I'll let her.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, Janet, explain yours now. yeah. Where's your ambition come from?
Isn't that great? Every
could
time
go
I
forever.
hear his story, it just never gets old to me. I'm always like, oh my God.
Yeah, I try to skip as much as I can.
You did that? You know, and Idrise always says I look at things with a child's eyes, like for the first time. And
I wish I could.
I kind of noticed that today with you, like with how you guys interact with the business stuff. I'm a very good observer, and the way you guys handle things today was well done.
Wow.
So up to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good team over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Damn.
Most business people will always be at the church throws, no matter what.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like we even if we have
nice
completely
people.
different, even if we have completely opposite ideas of something, and it's happened even with your other, which you can get into with like interior design, where you know she's had to learn where you might have a counterpart who's working with you, but has a completely opposite way of thinking. How can you meet in the middle and then make that still work, or like a little bit of this and a little bit of this, and so. But yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So where does your ambition come from?
Yes. My ambition comes from, I grew up, I'm Latina. I come from, my parents are immigrants. My dad has 12 siblings. He's one of 12. And the stories that I grew up hearing my whole life have always been very instilled in me. It's kind of like part of my DNA. So I grew up seeing my uncles and aunts just very ambitious to live the American dream. And so our life is actually very opposite, right? Where like my family would be like, reach for the stars and just go all in, you know, bet it all on you. That's right. You know, my dad would always tell me that. So growing up, being ambitious is really something I just saw. So I think it's just in my DNA. But the ambition wasn't for money, as Idrise was mentioning, right? It was always very family oriented. We live the dream and we get there in order to be with family, right? Where time is everything, right? And then you listen to that inner voice where God is, you are nothing but flesh, right? I grew up always hearing that God is, I'm literally his vessel. And I'm like, take me where I need to be, right? And I trust you. So the ambitious part of it, right? I know that in business it can be misconstrued. Oh, you're very ambitious. And for me, though, personally, growing up, ambition was very, very instilled in me when I was very young. And my parents made sure that living with intention and purpose is greater than the ambition of money, ambition of
whatever these other driving factors are.
Correct. And being in the industry, right? That was just a dream for me. Yeah. I went to school. I have a degree in psychology. I dropped out of my master program. I was diagnosed with a tumor, a brain tumor. So
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So imagine that, you know, you're in college in my master program and I'm like, I'm out. Yeah. You know? Right. I'm like, hey dad, I know you work so hard. And you know, of course what they taught you, what they were taught, right? Job security, 401k, XYZ. My family are entrepreneurs now. My dad is an entrepreneur. Nice. So they left a six-digit salary job as well. You know, they took that leap of faith again, right? We're very ambitious. My grandma, I mean, you name it, she's a woman. And taking care of 12 kids, she became a nurse. She learned how to like inject people. Yeah, she became a, what do you call that?
Tanda in Spanish, they don't really, never mind.
When you sew?
Seamstress, tailor.
Seamstress.
Yeah.
She became, it's called a tanda in Spanish.
It's kind of like a bank.
Oh.
That lets people borrow money?
Yeah.
Kind of
but it's like where people come to you to hold their money and they'll come back for it later, but then when people coming for loans, you're also paying out of that money too.
Like a bank.
And there's a percentage that you get to for managing people's finances. And it's funny because I had never seen or heard that, but she told me about it. It's called tanda. And then what did we watch? Some
Tanda.
Una tanda, right? Yeah. So, okay, but
and then we saw it in a movie and I was like,
to kind of reel it back in, right?
Yeah.
She did everything.
So imagine
She was
everything for
hustling.
family, though, right? As long as that ambitious drive is for being in service of others, and that's how it started for me. I was diagnosed with this illness. It was really just off of a headache. No, I've been very blessed, with just exactly, and yes, and a lot of faith. Honestly, a lot of faith and pivoting and just life. And the entrepreneur world came from that, because that's when I pursued dance as that's what I want to do for the rest of my life before I die. Like a drama movie or something. And
right. If I only have this many years to live, then I'm doing it like
I'm
this.
doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So
It's literally
what it was, and that's the moment really like where the spark of entrepreneur and just really seeing life with a different lens, with a different perspective of, oh my God, I can do this?
Yeah.
Like, this exists? There's entrepreneurs out there, like, taking control of their life, right? Like, this really does exist.
Crazy when you like,
yes,
and
right. And then, you start really listening and hearing, and the people that God, like Idrise was mentioning, just kept coming in my life and putting me in places that I never thought I would be in, or rooms, and learn, and you mentioned today, like, you were in the room with like legends.
Yep. And that was this trip wasn't even supposed to happen. My friend Daryl upstairs sleeping right now. He was like, let's just go, like see what's happening, and here we are.
yeah.
Here we are.
You never know.
Right. Yes.
No, I mean, and then we met you guys, and I normally can just. I can either, like, when you meet somebody, you can like vibe, and you can be like, you're just good people. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean? And then I think as soon as I walked by you guys the first time, and then we just started chatting upstairs for like 20 minutes, and I was just like, oh, what else do you guys do? I want to know everything you can do, so that I know where I can plug you. And that's just me, just giving what I can to your journey as well. And she does the same, and even the situation that you met us in today, that you saw us, in today, was also done the same way, where someone, offered, you know what, you're awesome, I love your spirit, and I want to bring you in. So then, brought, her friend Milo brought her to Melanie, and then Melanie the same way. It's like, I don't mess with a lot of people. I don't work with a lot of people.
She's great.
Yeah, so it's just like that.
And you heard when she said that, right? Like, and then being in this industry, right? And not just entrepreneur or our industry. It's everywhere.
But in the entertainment, man, entertainment industry especially. But I think it's just because people with art, artists, creatives. Whether it's a creative on the whether it's art like visual arts, whether it's the camera side, music. Whether it's photos, because we are tapped into, and this is what I try to like, at least in my mind, we are creating, right? Creating is something that God also does. It's something that God gave us, and that is that part of us that is God, right? We feel that connection to God as we create. So the more we create, the closer we feel to God, the better we feel about what we're doing, and it's so powerful that we're willing to do it for free, or even to take a loss, because and that's why there's so many starving artists, right?
Right, and we always talk about this, because are you kidding me? I'm like, I did so many things for free.
Yeah. And it's
so many
and
things.
even still I will, you know what I mean? Because it's like, but now it's strategic. Now it's like setting up for something, because we know that we don't want to be starving artists. No. We want to be artists that are getting paid well to do what we love to do. But we, in this industry, because we also are like, artists are better with art than business, and they get taken advantage of all the time. And that's what we end up seeing. And then the people that know they can manipulate will dangle that carrot in front of us and say, hey, just do a couple more of these, and you know what, just sign here, and if I'll help get your music in front of people. So you sign it, next thing you know, you're giving all the rights to your art, your creations away. And as that starts to happen, you start to almost not hate, but it's not enjoyable anymore. So now your get to do becomes a have to do. And when that happens, your enjoyment's gone. Where it used to be a privilege, I feel privileged, I feel blessed that I can create every day. Now it feels like slavery, because I'm getting taken advantage of all the time, and everything that I make for the next 3 years is theirs because I signed to it, and I thought that they were doing for me, but really it turns out they were doing for them. And and of course has seen that countless, not just within her own career, but also with everyone around her. And so that situation that you were part of today, that's because and that happened because
love having you there.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
That's why I was like, introduce yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was a little shy.
He's like, don't worry, you got me.
Right.
I was like, own up to your power.
Yeah. That was funny. No, it was comedy in there.
I'm just like, wow, like she's legendary.
Yeah, and she's so humble.
So humble.
Modest. Like you would have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same with her best friend that introduced us to that situation. He's the same. You would have no idea just meeting him, talking. He wouldn't sit there and boast and talk about the people he's worked with, things he's done, but oh my God.
Yeah. I think definitely, I believe God definitely puts you in places. And I always told Idrise, I'm like, in places of who to be inspired by, and all the time, good or bad, right? I just got inspired by never being like that.
Like negatively or positively.
By like just shifting that mindset instead of like, oh my God, did you da-da-da-da? And it's just like, no, I just got inspired by like not ever being like that.
That's
right? And just gracefully removing yourself from that situation and just staying on task, with what is your true calling, right? I know that word is thrown out there like confetti nowadays, but for the people out there that are listening, like they'll know what true calling really means, right? Where you just move differently, and through that process, your integrity and loyalty and just who you are always is the core of everything. It's the heart. I feel as an entrepreneur, right? I feel my path is probably a little slower than others. Because
Are you sure?
Oh, so you're sweet. You're so sweet. And and probably to give some context, because there's so many situations that I said no.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope.
Not slower in the sense of
speed.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think
I
think that's great that, when we talk about speed, because that's where people think,
like how quickly you make it or don't make it, or
I think that's a great conversation.
It is.
Like, that we should have out there.
Yeah, but that's another thing too, is even when you say it, the first thing someone's gonna do is compare my journey to your journey, to her journey to his journey.
I hate that so much.
And it's really tough not to, because I had a friend who taught me almost everything that I know about engineering when I first started. We're not going to talk to me anymore. I have no idea where he's at. And it was because I remember the last time we spoke was I kept on calling him and saying, hey man, what's going on? What are you doing? How you doing, man? What's new? And he'd be like, oh, same old nothing. And I was like, man, well, move to LA. Yeah. Like, I have an extra room you could stay in for a couple months to get your feet up, get on your feet. If you got a DoorDash or Uber or something on the, for a little while you're getting your money up, but you're a dope writer, you're a dope producer, you're a dope singer. You could do everything I just did. Yeah. Right? And he's like, man, he basically told me that every time I call him and tell him all these things that I'm doing, it would like kill him inside, because I taught you this and I've been doing it for 10 years longer than you, and you made it 3 times faster than me. Like, you're there making it, entrepreneur, you got your own studio now. Every time I talk to you, you're doing something else with somebody else and making stuff happen, and I'm still stuck in my parents' house. And he was mad, like legitimately mad, because he was now comparing. And I was like, yeah, but you're also 10 years younger than me. Like, what? This kid started so young. I went to the military for 10 years, then I started my journey. At 29, when I got out, I started. Yeah. So is my journey slower? Maybe, but I can't compare it to someone else's. Yeah, but if I didn't go to the military and learn all these languages and get all this culture, I probably wouldn't be as good of a writer. Yeah. I wouldn't have the experiences. I wouldn't have, all of these things. Even my diction and the way that I'm able to like formulate words. Like, you've heard some of the lyrics. Even the way that it falls off the tongue to me is super important, because it's about language, right? Language has a flow, has a rhythm, has a cadence, has a pitch. And all those things from Spanish, German, Arabic, Hausa, and English, that these languages that I'm now completely familiar with, I can now, when I write songs, I write them like that. And I'm like, maybe it's, you know, and I was always jealous of him. Man, you got to start in your early 20s, bro. Like at 19, 18, you were doing this.
Got a head start.
Oh my God, now I'm
We had 10 years
I'm mentoring 11-year-olds now. I'm like, the jump start you guys have is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but then I'm like, if you would have just looked at from 2016 to 5 years later, I have my own studio, my own company, and I'm completely like, that sounds crazy. Yeah. But it wasn't. It was more of like, and I always think of a slingshot. I felt like I was just being held back, and I've got all this momentum building, because I'm like, and all the time, 10 years in the military, all I could think about was, I wish I could be doing music. I wish I could be doing music. I wanted to be doing music. But I went to the military because my dad said job security, and you know, and he was like, you know, then they'll pay for your college, so when you get out, you can go straight to the universities, and you know, because we didn't have the money for that. So I was like, all right, so I went for that, you know, and this whole time in the back of my mind, I'm not really doing what I felt like I was made for, like my calling, my dream. So there it is, and all of a sudden, boom, let go, and I catapult. My trajectory, the velocity, it was there. And even with that, I'm banging on, hitting stuff, right, all the way. I didn't make it as quickly as I could have. 2 years I probably completely threw away by poor investments of time, energy, and money. You know, and we talked about that, and it's. I think one of my friends told me, you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
That's a good friend.
You gotta stop looking at these other journeys, right? You're where you're supposed to be. And everything that's happened up until this moment is what led to this moment, right? You did not control anything that she did, or I did, or DJ did. Only thing you controlled was what you did, but you still ended up in the same room with us and DJ and Melody and all that because of decisions you've made and we've made to end up at that same point at the same time. Because we just have also our trip here at this time, your trip here at this time, like, and this is, you read that in that book too, right? Untethered Soul. Like there's a book that we've just been reading about. It's in there, but I love reading. Yeah, we just started it.
Oh my goodness.
It talks about that. It's like even your birth, even your existence was because of decisions that your parents made from the time they were born all the way right to meeting, and so you have nothing to do with that. You're exactly where you are supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a great book, very insightful, and you're reading it, and I'm like, I want to reread what.
I know, all the time. That's, I think, exactly what it's there for.
It's great.
Yeah, we haven't even finished it, and it's like the Untethered Soul. Yeah.
For those that are watching.
I know.
Yes.
My dad put me onto it, put us onto it.
Put us on.
And he's been telling me for years though, and I never did. And we just started reading it like the last couple of weeks, and it was like.
Oh, recently.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like, oh snap. Wow.
It's like mind blowing.
Yeah, just perspective, you know. Everything's perspective.
A lot of perspective.
Yeah, like things you just don't think about, but it's like, yeah, it's pretty dope.
Until you actually think about it.
Yeah, you don't think about it until you think about it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, well, because then it's not like it doesn't make sense.
No.
You just never thought about it like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially with this, where we're at in the book now too. It's just like, what? So yeah, I don't want to give anything away, but you'll love it too.
When I get there.
Yeah. And then we'll talk another podcast.
That's right. I know you guys don't have much time, so
No.
I don't want to leave too much of I
No.
want to leave a gap for the next one.
Oh yeah. Oh like yeah. Put the whole story.
Right.
Yeah.
That just reminds me, like, what you're talking about now, like, you're here because of the decisions you made.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, a quote that I go by is, the stuff you prayed for isn't happening because you prayed for it.
Right.
So it's very similar in a way to how you said it. I'm like, oh, that's crazy, because I heard this quote, like, a week ago. I'm like, that's
like,
weird.
Yeah. Like, that hit different.
Yeah.
I sat down, I was like,
it's so, it's kind of crazy too, because, you know, if you think about like time is relative, how we experience time versus how God experienced time, if he does at all, right? Because he is time, right? So it's like if we prayed for something now and then 6 years from now it happened, but we forgot we prayed about it or whatever, like that 6 years was probably not even a blink of time for God. Like he answered it exactly. You know, like we got, you know, and it's, I think because we experience time in a linear way. And if you start thinking quantum physics, we can go there, but I love that stuff. But if we start thinking quantum and we start thinking about, we go in a whole nother part of, we're talking about matter versus waves and how, you know, we talk about things in like a completely like omnipresent way, you know, instead of this linear way that we experience life. And Yeah, and then it is, you know. But if you, exactly, right. Instead of directional, but we experience our human experience, which is a very limited time on this earth, right? Our souls in these bodies is a linear one, where time has a beginning and it has an end. But for God, it's not the same. So, you know, we have to like understand that we're exactly where we're supposed to be, not just XYZ on the plane of like physical location materially. We're exactly where we're supposed to be in time too. You know, and we have no control over any of that. Even the decisions we made, the good ones and the bad ones, led us here to great situations, you know, that we probably prayed for. Yep. You know, and didn't even think about when they would happen or how they would happen. So, you know, I mean, and she's a testimony to having lived past her prognosis that she was given. She was supposed to have died already by now, and you know, and the doctors still don't understand how she's able to even function, but here she is, like you've seen, kicking ass in business meetings, then dance classes, teaching, you know, doing everything that doctors are like, how are you even walking? Like, how are you even, you know?
She's a walking miracle.
Yeah.
To doctors.
Yeah, and of course, like you wouldn't know, she hides whatever pain she has to power through, you know, and just make it happen so that she can still be of service and do what God put her here to do, you know. So, and
thanks. Thanks for that. I always tell Idrise, there's moments, and anyone, you know, out there that can relate, you know, to a pain that's not seen to the world, right? When you're going through something. When I'm teaching a class, a dance class, or I'm in this environment, right, or at the business meeting that you were just with us, I tell Idrise, I'm like, it's no longer me. Yeah. I really
feel like it's like God takes over.
It. I told him, I'm like, it's God. Yeah. I really feel He takes over my whole body. Like I said, you know, I always pray before a class, and I said, God, you know, I am your vessel, and utilize me, you know, and if I die, I'm like, and He tells me, what did you do with all the talents I gave you? I can say I utilized every single one of them. Right? So when I'm in there in those classes, you know, I no longer feel pain. It's like no worries, no
adrenaline,
nothing. Everything
the Holy Spirit's
is gone.
Like, boom.
I'm just in there.
Here I am.
I'm here.
Yeah. And then I get on like, oh
and
my
afterwards,
God.
she's like dizzy and
like,
in pain.
I'm like, help me.
Yeah, we did get
We did.
Real quick, yeah. And that's also not good, you know. We'd be on the move. That's so tough too, you know, another thing. But it's just, you know, when you're moving and shaking and things are happening.
The adrenaline, right?
Yeah, the adrenaline. And then all of a sudden you get in the car and you're like, whoa, I'm got lightheaded there for a second. Oh, I'm malnourished. What do you know? All I've had is coffee, which makes it like worse by the time you get dehydrated.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, but it's been good though. And we just moved to Dallas 2 years ago. It's really, we're back and forth.
That transfer from you guys living there?
Yeah, well, every 2 weeks, you know, we're back, or every 3 weeks, you know, at least once a month we try to get here. Oh, we do get here, no matter what, just to make sure that we can keep doing what we have to do here, music-wise, dance-wise, and now social media and her interior design stuff. Went to Dallas because her interior design.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me more about that, Jen?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. So when the pandemic hit, as you know, everything transitioned to virtual, which opened the opportunity of joining the family business. My family owns a company called Stella Rose Homes. We're builders and developers. And I personally never wanted to be in the family business. I was like, no, I'm okay. I got my dance thing over here, you know. My dance company is growing, you know, etc. And my dad said, well, mija, you know, like we're getting really busy. We're essential, right? They were able to still keep business going. And I said, okay, the only way I will go, if it's real estate or interior design. Rewind a little back for people that know me. I love interior design, of course, right? It's in the arts. It's a dance. The synergy between those two worlds is actually very similar. I do DIYs for fun. Like that's just my hobby, right? Hobby. And now
her apartment already looked like, you know, I mean, when you went, before she was an interior designer, she interior designed her space, you know. So like you go to her place and you'd be like, dang, did you hire an interior designer? But she's, oh no, I did it myself, like that. So it was already like, yeah, she was already doing it.
I love it, right?
Yeah.
So interior design was the opening, and I took the leap of faith and said, let's do it. So here I am.
That's a big move.
It was. Yeah. It definitely was, and learning how to balance.
Yeah.
Between the two.
Still learning.
Still learning. Yeah, let's be real, right?
Yeah. Kind of go and just figure out along the way. That's it.
You kind of have to.
Yes, and I'm like, God got me.
Yep.
I'm gonna be good. The abundance is gonna come.
Yeah.
He put me here again. We go back to that, right? I'm here because I'm meant to be here. I can feel it. I can feel it in my soul. It's in my DNA. The interior design just kind of blew up. And it's been going, great. Well, you saw today, just kind of designing that whole studio, giving it a beautiful facelift. It's really a blessing to just be able to be in service of others. That's really what it is. The intention behind everything I do is really with that in mind. The purpose of walking into a space and creating just this serenity sanctuary for people, right? Whether it's with movement or words or singing, or you sharing this with the world, right? You don't know who might just needed to hear that, like us. Yes. When we see a quote, we're like, damn, that hit different. I really needed that in that moment. Right? Yeah, so everything just kind of comes together and just creates this, this meaning of being very blessed to be alive.
Yeah. Even earlier, what was the quote? The difference between worrying about what's going to happen and being excited about what's going to happen.
Instead
it's just
of worrying,
a mind shift. It's just a shift in mindset.
The perspective of mind shift. So I'm really into that. Idrise knows that. So we read this and we're like, oh, that's a post-it.
Yeah.
That's in the book?
No, that was just a quote she read, and it was like, dang, that's true. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, just imagine.
It's just
instead
a mind
of
shift.
Worrying about
mindset shift.
You
worry about the future or be
excited
excited about it. Because even the drive down here, you could be like, dang, what the heck's gonna happen? But at the same time, you could be like, all right, what the heck's gonna happen? It could be.
Yes, right, and then here we are, like you said, like, okay, let's do it. I'm excited. Why not?
Yeah.
Instead of you worrying about like, oh, what if like this happens or this happens on the way.
Yeah, it'll actually be deterrent. You'll end up not doing the trip at all.
Yeah.
Because of all the what ifs, and like I honestly, I met her. Well, we met 2 years before, but we didn't actually start like courting, dating until.
I like the word courting.
I know, right? Until like maybe was it January? So January, February, and you moved in June. 6 months when we started and so. Within that 6 months, she's like, hey, my family said, first she had mentioned, my family might want me to come down there and help out with family business,
nice.
Probably by 2023, 24. That's really what it was. Then it happened 3 months later after she told me that. And they're like, we really need you. Things are kind of going crazy right now. And they're kind of blowing up for us, and we need you. And so she's like, well, all right, family first. And she says, I'm going to go down there. And I was like, well, I'm so in love that I can't do long distance, so I'm going too. And she's like, wait, but we do, it's kind of new. You don't have to give up your career. You're an entrepreneur. You got your business, your studio, all that. I was like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No worry.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
She was more worried for me than I was. I was like, I'm gonna do it because this is it for me. You're it. I already know. So I was like, my lease is. Yeah. So I know, right? And she's like, yeah, but aren't you what about your clients? What about, and then I was like, well, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I'll move. I just can't, there's no way I can do long distance with somebody I feel like this for, And I tried long distance before and it's not, it just loses. Yeah. So it's like, if there's no way I could not go to sleep every night, with you, next to me. Yeah. It's this, so I knew my lease was going to be over in October. So she was going to take off and move all her stuff down there in the end of June, right after your dad's birthday, I think it was. So right in early July, she was gone. And I was like, right at the middle of June, because then I came down for your dad's birthday. So every 2 weeks I bought plane tickets to go down there, and I was like, she's like, you don't have to do that, and I'm like, I just want to. Yeah. I want to be here. Yeah. And so
I was looking out for him again.
So as soon as the lease,
Okay.
As soon as the lease was up, I sold everything. That last.
So mind you, I come from a huge family, right? Like you're talking about music and open arms. Like, come on, mijo, and the good food, you name it, right? Yeah. So it's like they would tell me the same thing. Mija, let him.
Let him move.
Let him do what he needs to do.
So like the last 2 weeks, like my lease is about to be up. I'm on OfferUp. Everything must go. People coming over, picking up the bed, picking up the dresser, hats, shoes, anything I couldn't fit in my car. Because I was not doing a U-Haul. Oh, yeah. U-Haul's like $5,000 once you fill it and drive it 2,000 miles.
Plus gas.
Yeah, plus gas. That's what I mean.
The
like
ambition was wild.
So I was like, I'm selling everything, and if I can't sell it, I have to trash it. Yeah. And give some away to Goodwill. So I paid I ended up spending $800 on trash removal to just dump anything I couldn't get rid of. And some of it, he just said he would take I had 60 pairs of shoes that I'm not gonna fit in my car. I needed essential stuff. So he took them to Goodwill for me, took 20 trash bags for me to Goodwill, and then the rest was all thrown away. And then I made $800 on just OfferUp. So it kind of evened me out. Nice. And then I just
This is important
drove.
Though. By the way, anybody moving and needs to throw stuff out, remember we came across this company that will pick up your stuff.
Oh, the veteran one?
The veterans.
Oh, yeah. You
Donation.
can put your, I'll look it up. I can't remember right now. We'll have to put it in a link or something for you.
Yes,
but it
was so awesome.
If you have furniture and stuff like that, you could put it out and they'll come pick it up and give it to a veteron that needs it. Yeah, because there's a lot of vets out there that are homeless and stuff.
They will pick it up for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have a truck. Yeah. Because I didn't have a truck.
Yeah,
California's not a truck place.
No.
Texas is.
Yeah. So, anyways, I had to put that out there.
The biggest truck place.
I had to put that out there because I was very I was just in shock.
Also, it did suck because I did have to throw away a lot of stuff because I didn't have the time. Yeah. So that kind of did suck. So yeah, I know in the future some of it I didn't have to probably trash. Yeah. I literally left a couch. One thing about LA is that there's so many starving artists that if you leave something out, it's gone. Really? I put a almost brand new couch and I put it on the curb and I woke up the next day and somebody already grabbed it. And then I was like, oh dang, so I put dresser, I put all kinds of stuff out there. Gone. Yeah, because they're if you don't pick it up, the trash truck will. Yeah, gone. Wild. I was like, okay, well somebody got use out of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, that's the Texas story. That's why we went to Texas. And then and actually the main reason why we come back here together because she still has her dance stuff here and I still have my studio. That's right. So then it worked out better because now, remember we were talking about what I've learned from being with her about time and family is I only have to I just take all my clients that would have been a month worth and I just condense and say, hey guys, this is the only time I'm in town. So book it up. Yep. Back to back. Let's just knock everything out. And then when I go back, I can spend a week of editing, but then but even that's still when I need to. Yeah. Because I can do that with 12 brothers and sisters that her dad has. There are also hundreds of cousins. And there's a birthday, a baby shower, a wedding, an engagement. Right? Yeah. Every weekend is something, Yes. And or a Little Mermaid or something that we got with the nieces and and it's so these family obligations are actually awesome. Yeah. And it's because I don't have to physically be somewhere in Texas, I can just physically be there for her and her family and it's awesome actually. And then
and I told Idrise,
and I can just edit late at night or something or
whenever I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
It feels my energy, my cup, my family, my support system is great, my chosen family, right? My community in the dance world, it's just no matter where, it's like Idrise said, he learned it from your dad, right? Just seeing your dad bodybuilding.
Oh yeah. He was just always,
I think that's really where we all, in a sense, get that. Yeah. It's from childhood. Yeah. When we're children, right? From our childhood.
Yeah. It was different, a little different because he wasn't physically present in my life so much, but he was still someone to look up to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's where it was just I want to be this hardworking, never quit, completely dedicated, doesn't matter what's in my way. Yeah. That's kind of where I saw it. I seen it with my mom too, but in a different way. Yeah, she's also she's more on the survivor. No matter what's been thrown at her, she'll make it. My dad's more like, no matter what's in my way, I'll break it. And I just came up with that right now.
That's good.
But that's kind of the difference there. But it was still like two really strong, minded individuals to look up to. So, but completely different because I was an only child, and then I have a little sister, but she was born when I was 10, different mother. So most of my life, half sister. For all intents and purposes, we're like this. We're super tight. But I could say that like most of my life was just me and my mom because my dad wasn't there. So where her, it's like most of her life was cousins, aunts, uncles, madrinas, padrinos, right? Like your godmother's godmother and godfather. I'm not godmother, I'm godfather. I'm nothing. It was just me and my mom. And that was it. So it was the difference, the opposites that we ended up coming from, like growing up and then meeting and being like so opposite. Obviously it presents its challenges, but it also like crossed this bridge, and I love it. Like what I never had, I have now with her, and probably the same, which she never got to experience, or ways of looking at things that I have or do, or this almost like completely, it's almost like you can be independent to a fault.
Correct.
Just like you can be generous to a fault.
That's also true.
And you can be anything. You can always be too much of anything, and being independent to a fault can really make you shut people out.
Oh yeah, detrimental.
Yeah, and I'd say that I actually saw that with my dad a lot. A lot of people, not it's not on purpose. No. You're just focused on one thing, and blinders are up, and you're gone. And if you ain't a part of it, you ain't, So, it's one of those things where like I became that a little bit with new environments, new people, I just gotta do what I gotta do. Yeah. And so she kind of took those blinders off me very much so over the last few years. Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm love.
Yeah.
I embody love. Look at me.
Right. Yeah. So it's been an experience.
I'm alive. Okay.
It's like a whole new life. Like of learning a new way almost, but it's cool. Yeah.
Sorry, don't need to go job or anything, but what's your background? If you don't mind?
Oh, yeah. When she mentioned she was Latina, I was like, what kind? Mexican.
Oh yes, I am Mexican.
Oh, okay.
I'm Mexican.
Filipino.
Yeah, you're Mexican and Asian. You're Mexican from the Asian side, from the islands. My dad is black and Native American.
Oh.
And Moors, from the Moors, from North Africa. And then my mom's Japanese and white. So I'm like a mutt for sure. Yeah.
All kinds of cool things.
Yeah. So grandma came from Japan when right after the war, and when she was a teenager still, and then grew up in San Francisco Bay. Had my mom there. My dad, I'd say, great grandmother, her dad would have been the one that came over from the Moorish side from Africa, and then the whole slavery thing, goes down, and then slaves are freed, and she was one of those independent women, great-grandma, independent woman who started her own business in the South. Also she's black, but she also had slaves. People don't realize that someone had to do the work, and but a whole nother part of history that happened. And then his mother, she was an orphan, but from her side is Nigerian, West African, but never knew her family or anything like that. So that's where we have my dad's dad was Muslim and his mom was Christian. So then he kind of became like in limbo, just spiritual. And then I grew up Christian because my mother and my grandma was super influenced. I had influence from both of them, mom and grandma. But yeah, that's pretty much my background there.
Wow. I love these stories, right? I love it when I meet people. Like I've always wanted to do these podcasts where I meet them first and like this way, because then I'm gonna ask these questions anyways later on. So I don't want to ask it twice.
You know what? I forgot. Let me go back and watch that podcast.
Exactly. And for me, I'm super forgetful. That's just my nature. I'm super forgetful.
You're like, I'm a goldfish. I know it.
It's true. And that's why I make these videos and vlogs and stuff. It's just for a reminder for myself to remember, like, that's what happened this time of day.
Wow.
But
how cool is it that like this thing that you do to help yourself remember could blow up and become something like some awesome podcast that just goes by? You know what I mean? Like,
or like I said, you just never know who needs to hear.
What you're
the
providing.
Conversation that we're having, or you've had with someone else, and somebody could just be like, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You know.
And they keep tuning in.
Stories that we all have, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has a story. I want to get it from everybody. It's
Hell
crazy.
yeah. That's dope.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having us.
Especially, we're leaving tomorrow.
It's an
so I was,
honor.
and I was like, and you had mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, it'd be great to, do that and just sit down and talk. So that we did.
Great. Thank
Yeah,
you guys.
because we probably won't, who knows the next time we'll see you.
Exactly. You never
So,
know.
yeah.
Because you're touring, you're all over the world.
Yeah, I think it'll happen sooner than later though after this trip. I'm sure whatever.
I'm pretty sure what happens.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it feels like, when you, even like, I've seen stuff you posted that she was reading off, and it's like, I can tell that the trip, in the people you've met and the things you've done, it's done a lot for you.
Yeah.
It's perspective, probably what you thought was going to happen versus what actually happened.
Correct.
What you've experienced here versus what you experienced back home, especially in our industries. Home sucks for a lot of us.
Yes.
You never get the same support that you would, next thing you're out here meeting strangers that are like, let's go, bro. Like, mindset, like I'm reading what you're posting, and it's like, yeah, we've been there, Which is why I'm like, I think we'll see you sooner than later.
Oh yeah.
You'll be back. So.
I agree.
Yeah, it'll be dope.
This was definitely not on purpose, but on purpose.
Yeah.
With
Not
God.
on purpose, but with
I like
purpose.
that.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, but with purpose.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. See?
Yeah. Divine timing.
We got it.
Yeah, it's all
We're the dynamic team
that
right
divine
here.
timing,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Even the footage. I mean, I don't know what you guys captured earlier, but even I'm sure you did, yeah. But even like
Yeah.
after what she posted of us when we were on that studio room,
Yeah.
I was like, in a live room, and I was like, oh, that came out good. That was dope.
Right.
Yeah, the little wide angle. You couldn't even see it because your phone was turned around, so you're like hoping for the best.
Yes, literally. I'm like, we have to get something
Yeah.
because, like you said, we sometimes you're so present. I told Idrise, it's like, what do you call this? In my life at least, there's so many moments that are not captured, but they're only lived.
Yeah.
By me and whoever I
in there.
experienced it with, right? Like that's it.
Right.
There's no camera, there's no picture, nobody knows.
We're doing so
it didn't
much.
even happen,
Yeah.
So
I've been doing
That's what I mean. We're doing so much that it almost that we're less active on capturing it.
Yeah.
Like now, it's like if somebody sees us pop up, and she's like, she's a social media person, so she's like, I gotta get back on it. Yeah, so she's like, I gotta get back on it, and I gotta do this, and this for it to move, and I'm like, okay. And for me, I'm like, dang it, I stopped posting too.
Yeah.
We just hustling, we're just grinding, and it's like just because what is it? Like when we're quiet, but we're making big moves like in the dark almost. Like nobody, as far as anyone knows, we fell off the face of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, the next time you pop up on social media, you're like freaking top 100 women of influence in LA. Like that's what I mean. Like that just happened.
Yeah, that just happened.
So it's like, wait, what have you been? You've been so
you.
quiet that like, I thought you were doing nothing. Turns out you've been doing so much that you're there.
Yeah, that's right.
That you're in a magazine now. Like, what the heck's going on? And so it's like, dang, if only I had a drone that had unlimited battery life that could just follow me around and capture the things I'm doing, you might know that we're busy.
that's not affirmation for for like the applause in a sense, right? How can I say this? But it's more of an affirmation that for me personally is, okay, I hear you, God. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Because the moments where you are in doubt or fear, or like Idrise said, I know the social media business, how it works.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of my personal business comes from endorsements, right, on social media. So I gotta get back on that little grind too, right? Having these multiple streams of income to continue just doing what I love to do, right? Yeah. And give back to my community, because Idrise knows that we love to do that. And when that happened, it was just literally, just kind of affirming in a sense, like, nope, you're
good. You're good. Yeah, because you fall off on one thing, because like I haven't been posting a lot lately, and now you're thinking, okay, but this brand is waiting for me to post this, product that they sent me, and I still haven't, but that's because I've been doing this, and then you're like, almost like kicking yourself for not being active on this, while you're doing all this other stuff, and then boom, that happens. You're like, okay, I guess I'm I'm right where I'm supposed to be, you know? And then
that's fine too, like not being able to like document the process, because I know people that do document the process, but they're not present. They lose business skills like that.
Yeah.
So I like the way you put it before, like it looks like you're doing little on the surface, but deep down, the private deals.
It's that iceberg.
Yes.
It's literally
I like that way more than like the actual, like, hey, I'm doing this, when most people aren't really doing that.
And it's like it's been like that for the past 10 years, half of my stuff, because you know, you see the credentials, right? The credibility and stuff. It's like, and people like, I didn't see that. Right. I'm like, right. Because I was so present.
Yeah, that I wasn't doing this.
I was so present in the moment, you know, that you get lost in it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. Right?
And there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. But it is beautiful.
You just saw me on that red carpet one day.
To have it captured, but like you said, for yourself, to remember, to be like, damn. Yeah.
Dude, I remember Busta Rhymes was literally like, he stopped me walking by, and Busta Rhymes is like one of my favorite rappers, right?
He's so good.
Yeah, so I'm like, I grew up listening to this guy. I walked by and he's like, hey, yo, my man. And I was like, me? Yeah, exactly, like me? Because I knew it was Busta, you know, I'm not going to like be all like, oh, that's Busta Rhymes. I just kept walking. And but he stops me and I was like, yeah, he's like, come here for a second. And he's like, what's your name? And I was like, Idrise. He's like, you Muslim? And I was like, oh, my father is. He's like, I was like, you know, but I know some of the prayer, you know, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He's like, he said, do you know the whole thing? And I was like, nah. He's like, come here for a sec. Grabs my hand, daps me up, pulls me in and says, repeat after me. Does the whole prayer, right?
Word.
Then he goes, the reason I stopped you is because I felt a good energy from you. I don't know what it was. Just out of the blue. And it was a nightclub. The lights came on. I'm just walking. It was packed in there because Busta Rhymes was there that night. Yeah. So if everybody walking by him, and he stops me and pulls me over to the section, and of course security's trying to push everybody out. He's like, no, they're good. You know, it was me and Saw actually. Saw was there. So she saw the whole thing. She was like, what the heck? And he's just like, yeah, he's got a good vibe, man, good energy. And I was like, yeah, well, appreciate it. You know, you too, man. I've always looked up to you, and you know, one day I hope to be at your level. He's like, I'm sure I'll see you again. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, yeah, you probably will. And I was like, yeah. And then someone's trying to ask him I bring this up because right off to the side, these two girls like, Busta, just trying to get his attention. Can we get a picture of it? And he's like, yo. So he's like, yo, can't you see I'm trying to have a moment here? Exactly. And he's like, what's with everybody these days? He goes off for just like a brief second. He's like, nobody wants to live in the fucking moment, right? He's like, nobody can live in the moment. You want to be taking pictures, you want to do all this stuff, but you can't even have them. And you already disrespecting the moment I'm trying to have with this young man right here. And he went off. He was mad, but he was like, I'm not, and he calms down, I'm not saying I won't take a picture with you. I'm going to take a picture, but be patient.
Yes.
Because this is more important to me. Like, I don't need cameras. I don't need nobody to document none of this. I'm experiencing this. I'll remember it. He'll remember it. That's all it needs. Exactly. All it needs to happen. And I was like, that's what's up. And I'm like, dang, I shouldn't ask for a picture now. No, but really.
Yeah. You got his autograph.
So Busta, can I get no? But I was like, but in my mind,
that moment.
Right. So that moment, can we document it? Okay. Let me get in the background of that picture then. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but even when it happened, I wasn't thinking picture or nothing. I was just, right? It was just there, and I felt equal. Right? Even when Neo, I mean, I can tell you all the people I've met that every time we meet, we hang, it's like whatever. Now he's like, hey, you want to go bowling? I'm like, sure. So I'm like bowling with Neo. I'm singing karaoke with Neo next weekend. Bro. And it's always like, in my mind, I was like, they're no better than me. He's just more famous than me. That's right. You know, he's got more money than me right now. But like, that's a peer, and I'm not looking at him like he's anything else, which is probably why there's this like, hey, you trying to hang?
You're able to get along.
Yeah, you trying to, hey, come. Yeah, meet my boy, this is party next door. Bro, literally, this is party next door. This is OT Genesis. Just introducing me to everybody, and I'm like, cool, like anytime, just come through. Snoop Dogg's compound, like the places I've been able to go in just these few years I've been in LA, and the people I'm around, and none of it. I have pictures of none of it, video of none of it. Yeah. I was just there. I was just in it. I loved it. It was awesome. And in my mind, I'm like, this doesn't. I was like, that's it. The only reason why it feels so like normal and natural is because I'm the same as them, and they're the same as me. There is no difference. We are souls. we are all where we're supposed to be at this moment. You know, and that's really what it was. And the whole thing was not documented. Like none of that. Yeah. So I say that to say I love it too. Yeah. At some point, like yeah, you could maybe hire someone to just follow you around everywhere and day in the life and become a vlogger, or some people. If people did follow Janet around, they'd love it because she's hilarious, just in her like own quirky way. Yesterday I'm like filming her do this. Oh my god! And she like didn't even do it on purpose. That thing she posted about the top 10 things asked on Google. Yeah. That's just because she was bored and her head was hurting, and she just sat down for a second and she's like just yeah. And so I was like, hey. And I gave her the little mic thing.
Yeah. I was taking a little mental break.
A mental break, okay, because we were working. Yeah, we were working all day.
I don't like to say I'm bored because I'm never bored.
Yeah, not bored.
Yeah.
Obviously, you saw she made use of that time. Oh, yeah. But it was a mental break from we were working all day. So she sat down and she was just like in the chair, and I was like, and she's looking on her phone, and I'm like, hey, take this mic real quick.
I love how both of you were like chilling.
Okay, so let's see what the top 10, and I'm like, okay, this is so random, but as she did it, and she's laughing like a kid, like, oh my god, what time is it? I ask Google that every 5 minutes. I get it. And she's not even lying, she really does. She asks what time it is so often that I'll be like, she'll ask, hey Google, what time is it? And I'll say it before Google, because I'm like, this is ridiculous, like, just stop. Or she's like, she's got her phone in her hand. Hey Siri, what time is it? Like looking right. I'm just kidding. No.
Oh my god, you're right.
But she's right. But she's so funny because it's like real. It's her. Yes. And so when she's like, so I'm like, if you had, and that post has gotten, and I told her post that. She's like, no, I look horrible. It wasn't even really doing anything. It was just. Like, just post it. That is.
No, I didn't say I look horrible. I said.
Oh, because you had a headache and you felt horrible.
Right. Yeah. So because
her eyes are kind of squinted because she was just
low a little bit.
Yeah, kind of fighting the pain. So yeah, that's what when you say you look horrible, it's like I don't like the way I look when I have a headache. That's right. That's what it was.
Because I can see the pain, and I feel
that other people are gonna see.
I don't want people to see
I don't want people to feel some way or
I want them to be happy.
Yeah. It's like when I portray my best self for everybody so that they can feel. But at the same time, I'm like, no one's gonna tell that you have a headache. This is just you. And on top of that, it's freaking. So
I posted it, of course. Obviously, I got over it after
the engagement
like 2 minutes.
is wild on that one. Everyone's asking for more of it, and I was like, I told you, like. You're funny. People like you. Yeah. You have a really nice voice. You have a fun laugh. Yeah. People are like, hey, your laugh makes me want to laugh. Like, I'm like, you could. So yeah, it would be great if someone just documented and followed her around everywhere all the time.
What do you think, you guys? Is he my fan?
I know, right?
we're each other's hype humans, like.
Hype humans. That's a good one.
Hype humans.
We should patent that. We should get copyright, trademark it.
We'll mute that during the podcast.
Right. Next thing you know, we got like a cool logo. It's like 2 H's, but like, right?
Oh yeah.
Hype humans. Let's do it. That's gonna be a.
Oh my god, you guys just witnessed that. Literally,
that's like our crew. You know what I mean? Like our squad. We're hype humans.
Ding, ding, ding,
and we hype humans, and we're hype humans. See, look at us.
See, look at us. See, look at us.
Yep. So when you come back out to LA and you move here,
hype humans.
Yeah, we gonna be hype humans.
The next thing.
We're documenting all of our fun, funny, super in-depth, deep conversations and divine timing meetings.
Yes, I really feel this is definitely divine timing. And even meeting you and just being in this space with you and you're just making it so comfortable. We're probably talking more than we need to.
The battery's already dead on the camera. Those things went off a long time ago. Now we're just talking, not documented.
Right, nothing's documented.
I'm pretty sure it is dead.
The red light's like not even on.
I know. That's how long.
Yeah. Now we're undocumented.
But in real life. But in real life, thank you for making it just so comfortable and for us just to be so open.
That was an immigration joke, sorry.
What?
I said that was an immigration joke, sorry. I said now we're undocumented.
Oh, I didn't even catch that, you see?
You didn't either.
Because I'm Latina.
But because he's from Canada and you're from Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah. But now we're all undocumented.
Yeah. I caught it like 10 years ago. 10 years later, After. Oh my god.
It's late.
Okay.
It's late and the cameras are off.
It's late, the cameras are dead.
I'm pretty sure they're done.
Really?
They gotta be.
I got my phone right now, so it's okay.
We're recording
pictures of you guys.
Yeah, now it's just audio.
It's
so funny though.
Because you're gonna edit it anyways, right?
I'll just do selfie now and you can add it to that.
Yeah. And most people don't actually watch the videos. It's more so like they listen on Spotify or Apple Music.
Hell yeah.
That's where they usually listen to.
Yeah. But like I said, this is more for him. that's just for the people to listen and watch later.
For you guys, for your audience.
Yeah. This is for him to remember.
I love
awesome
that.
meeting.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, I'm just, thank you so much for just making it
blessed.
Yeah.
Thank
making
you.
it just so comfortable, to have a conversation with you. Idris over here talking about our life.
I know, right? I talk a lot, sorry.
No, I appreciate it.
I narrate.
People talk a lot.
Yeah.
No, I really do. I love podcasts where I just not talk. Because then it's like, oh, it's great.
A whole lot of stuff. Yeah, a whole lot
I
of.
don't have to do much is great. I have to ask too many questions.
Right.
Basic generic questions. Because then there are some podcasts where I do have to ask crazy questions to get their mind twisted.
Oh,
To
yeah.
get them talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I like it when you guys are very comfortable to talk to.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure this camera's still rolling, so look at that.
Awesome.
one. And maybe just finish it off strong with their social medias, follow, and your next goals.
Oh yeah. Well, next goals is to keep hyping humans. I'm just kidding. No, to keep just keep on keeping on. Living with purpose. Hopefully everyone is inspired by that and is doing the same. And if not, get on it. Figure out what your ministry is. What are you here for? What gift did God give you with, bless you with, that you should be utilizing to inspire the rest? And we're doing that now on a regular basis. We love it. Turn that into your business if you want. You can be entrepreneurs as well. You can do it any way you want. But that's our goals. That's what we're doing, and it's been great and it's lovely. Again, I'm Idrise. On Instagram, it's Idrise, ITSIDRISE, and stay tuned.
Yeah, and just end it off strong here is be you. There are no rules, honestly. Whoever made up these rules, they don't exist. Be you, follow your heart, do what you feel, like Idris said, it's just your calling, and keep on keeping on.
Yeah. You are exactly where you need to be.
Exactly.
Remember that.
Exactly. And on that note, you can find me at Instagram, right?
Yeah.
All platforms. It's all Misscarrera, MISS Carrera, CARRERA, like the Porsche Carrera.
Yeah.
Like the car.
Yep. And if you want to see more dancing, check her TikTok out.
That's right.
He's so hyping me up. I love it.
Humans.
We're hyping humans out here. That's what we do.
Right. I ain't got nothing out there. I haven't documented it in a long time.
Are you kidding me, you guys?
You know what's crazy though?
He singing.
Yeah.
I don't got that many singing.
No, but you know what's crazy though?
Stay tuned though.
I've actually
Stay
seen
tuned.
you on my For You page in Instagram
Oh,
in
snap.
Canada.
Dang, that's what's up.
I was like, wait a minute, I've seen
this guy before. Oh, dope.
And I was like, wait a minute. And
That's
I put
what's
two
up.
and two together. I'm like,
Oh, that's
I've
how.
seen your videos.
Oh, dope.
I was like, what?
That is
Well, that's
so
good to know.
This
cool.
was like a month ago though.
Damn.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's great.
Yeah, it was like recent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
See.
Now I'm here,
But what's
like,
crazy is like the stuff that you got to hear today and
Oh,
the last
yeah.
couple days of the stuff or the stuff that we're working on.
NDA.
Yeah. But all that stuff, right? Whole nother level, right?
Behind
like
the scenes.
completely different. Nobody would even know that that's like passion, the passion of it.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's kind of a passion project, honestly, for me and DJ, and we just both happen to love it. So when I found somebody that loved it as much as I did, and we just went in on it, now here we are doing this quiet behind the scenes stuff nobody knows about until they hear it or see it in a movie or wherever it comes out. It's something I think is really cool. So yeah, I'm glad that you actually did get to kind of see or hear that.
Oh, that was
older stuff, and then now the stuff we're doing now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know it's super cool that you.
But
were
nobody else hears.
Yeah, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
Like I have not posted that. I've been at Legacy 2 Studios like that.
Yeah.
Like today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were like, wait, what? Like, what are you?
Especially because we're in the middle of facelifting. And,
Yeah.
So
it's super cool.
yeah, it'll be cool once it's.
We experienced
rolling.
it together.
Yeah, and yeah, man, we're hoping that you come back out here.
Yes.
Even
Connect.
even like plan out a trip that's longer, or even like a because I feel like there's a lot that you can do down here too with us, on your team as well, and just plug in as much as we can. Yeah.
Yes. We are the connectors.
Yeah, man.
The
especially
movers.
especially if we're gonna have like a studio there to work
And
out
the
of too.
singers.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Amen to that.
And creators. Are you kidding me? I can go on for days.
Let's go. I love you too.
Oh yeah.
We love
Likewise,
you.
man.
Thank
Having
you.
the podcast. Again, this is Idrise and Jannet. Thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure that's the only camera I have.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh, thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you so much.